How did you spend this last weekend? Was it traveling to the middle of nowhere, Georgia for a secret gathering of tiny truck enthusiasts? Well, if yes, you already know this event was quite the spectacle of off-road RC model building. For everyone else though, here's some of the highlights from my experience at the Illuminati of Scale. Hello everyone and welcome! If you like radio-controlled off-road 4x4s with mind-blowing levels of scale detail, have I got a great video for you. This past weekend I was given the opportunity to participate in the Illuminati of Scale, a gathering of extremely talented off-road RC model builders hosted by the same organizers that brought us the Ultimate Scale Truck Expo. With its legendary annual event now sunset, I was extremely thankful to get the opportunity to participate and share some of the fantastic work on display with all of you, which includes what has to be some of the best detailed land-based RC models you'll find anywhere. The amount of artistry and variety of vehicles on display was phenomenal, and I'm excited to share some of the great footage we captured with all of you. So without any further introductions, let's have a closer look at some of the awesome rigs, dioramas, and trails.
One headlight wonder here. Still never fixed it after I cut it.
We kicked things off with a night run, perfect for getting some great shots of these perfectly illuminated rigs and dioramas. Just gotta try not to twist your ankle too bad navigating the pitch black woods. Is this bridge cool or what? Easily one of my favorite things we encountered on the trail, but there were all kinds of really cool obstacles, dioramas, and details just like this along the way. The night run was fun, but it's under the daylight that you can really start to appreciate the level of detail present on all of these trucks. Just have a look at the variety of models on display. This rig here has got to be one of my favorites that I saw at this event. You've got showroom perfect trucks and ones that look like they're one breakdown away from getting sent to the scrapyard. Honestly, it was kind of overwhelming getting all of this footage because there's just so much to see, and with a lot of these rigs, the longer that you look at them, the more little things that you start to notice. Hopefully I'm doing it justice here. There's just so many amazing vehicles to see. I could spend hours going around vehicle by vehicle, having a closer look at all of the little intricacies on each one. I was especially impressed with the variety of vehicles. Of course, you've got a ton of square body GM trucks, Jeeps, and Toyotas, but I love seeing the more unique bodies such as these. If I recall correctly, these are 3D printed bodies rather than being sourced from a ready-to-run or a kit, and I don't know about you, but I love seeing some of the more niche vehicles being represented in the world of RC, especially with this level of detail. Now, there were a few judged categories such as Best Engine Bay, Best Weathering, and Best Paint. Judging was based off of us attendees placing a vote for who we think did the best in each category. I'm going to use the excuse of being too busy filming because for a lot of these categories, it would be extremely difficult to narrow it down to just one, and no surprise, the voting did end up being very close for a lot of these categories. In the end though, there were winners established, and here is a look at the best of the best. Man, I gotta get back to doing some more 10 scale stuff. Surely if I can build something detailed at this scale, I can do it even easier at a larger size, right? But hey, the little model to RC conversions sure are keeping me busy, and for the most part is putting bread on the table. Kits at makeItrc.com, STL files on patreon.com/makeItrc. Excuse me. Well, we obviously know the trucks look great, but that's only part of the equation, right? Eventually, it was time to get them out onto the trails and do some driving. Of course, as we'd expect from our experience at the Ultimate Scale Truck Expo, these trails were handcrafted with tiny tires in mind. Lots of dioramas for pictures and lots of cool obstacles along the way. Also, I gotta say, throughout the weekend, I was really impressed seeing how many of these beautiful, shiny, highly detailed rigs that we just saw previously were actually being driven out on the trails. You might think that these are all just a bunch of shelf queens, but no, I saw a lot of these rigs out there driving, which is awesome. Now obviously 1/10 scale super lifelike RC 4x4s like these are a little outside my wheelhouse. I'd like to think I'm pretty good at building some of the smaller scale stuff, but taking this recently completed 124 scale Jeep J10 down the trails would take quite a bit of time. Maybe all day, in fact. Fortunately, for being only a lightly modified ready-to-run vehicle, this FMS FJ40 isn't looking too bad out on the trails, along with the Michigan. They're a little on the larger side, but still the trails were a lot of fun, and the super top-heavy FJ definitely kept things interesting along the way. I also got a chance to get the Bronco out, which I featured in a recent video. The truck is working great, though I did dump it into the water, which ended that trail run a little early. I was really living in the moment a lot this weekend. I didn't want to be constantly recording, despite there being absolutely no shortage of phenomenal shots and phenomenal vehicles out on the trail. That said, I hope this gives you a little taste of some of the awesome super scale action. Well, okay, some of my driving might not exactly be the most scale in a few of these spots, but you get the idea. I do have to give my brother credit for a lot of the footage that you're seeing. It may not be immediately apparent, but I do get a lot of help with some of these videos, so I want to make sure I express my gratitude, especially as I'm gearing up for another RC chase video, which I'm sure will involve many hours of recording, so hopefully I'll have a few extra hands on set when that process starts, but that's obviously a topic for another video. But what can I say, an awesome weekend with some awesome trucks and some awesome people. Huge thanks to everyone who said hello and gave their compliments on these little plastic Model to RC conversions. Needless to say, it was a lot of fun and also very inspiring. These types of videos are always my favorite to edit because it's just so much fun to look back at this footage and see all these amazing rigs and shots out on the trails. This is kind of in contrast to the long build videos, which, don't get me wrong, I still really enjoy creating those, but sifting through hours and hours of footage of me just cursing at the bench and trying to pick out the spots that make me look halfway competent is a little bit more of a pain. But hey, it's all fun, and a huge thanks to all of the channel members and Patreon supporters who help make these videos possible. Now this was just a small private one-off gathering, particularly nice for some of us sponsors who had to run booths at USTE and couldn't always spend as much time out on the trails or just hanging out with people as we would have liked. But if you're watching this and you're interested in a more general RC crawler-centric event with miles of trails, vendors, competitions, and lots to see and do, there are many great public events held throughout the country, including Beat the Creek, which is coming up in a little over a month. That event is held in Maysville, Kentucky, and I have a video covering my experience from last year, which I'll be linking below in the description if you'd like to check that out. I hope you found today's video entertaining and maybe even inspiring seeing some of these awesome builds. If you've enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated, and let me know below in the comments which vehicle was your favorite. I of course want to give a huge thanks to Rob for the invite and everyone who helped make this event possible, and want to give a huge thanks to all of you viewers for watching. But that's all I've got for today's video. Thanks again everyone for watching, and I'll see you next time.